Hey, it's Scott, ROCKFILE, back with another podcast review for you. Going to talk about the 2021 film, Werewolves Within. I wanted to see this movie for a while, especially when I found out it was based on a video game I've never played. Ubisoft has a game called Werewolves Within, and it's one of those kind of graphical text adventures more than an action game or whatever. I've never played it. Red Storm Entertainment made it, which is a good gaming company, and it obviously was successful enough that they wanted to make a movie out of it. Movie had a $6.5 million budget. It grossed about $1 million. It's got decent reviews, and it has some of the best reviews of any game or any movie made off of a video game. So there's that. The short version is I expected a little more horror and a little less comedy. It very much is a comedy with some horror elements and not the other way around. Basically, the entire cast are comedians. From Sam Richardson to George Basil to Sarah Burns, Catherine Curtin, Wayne Duvall. Some of these are all stand-up comedians or comedians from other movies, TV shows, and that kind of thing. And then the female star is Milana Vayntrub, however you say her name. She's the girl from those AT&T commercials. Quite beautiful and was really good in the movie, actually. Surprisingly good. All in all, I enjoyed the flick, but I was a hair disappointed because, well, they don't show you a lot of the gore. Like, we find a body early on, and they kind of have it just out of focus in the front of the frame, and everybody's going, ooh, ah, but they don't really show it. Now, in a horror movie, you probably should show it. You know, it depends. But in this one that they're trying to, in the beginning, a dog disappears, and we find a body. So there's no actual attacks right at the beginning, right? And then we don't know if it's an animal, if it's a werewolf, whatever. They start joking that it might be werewolves, and that becomes a big joke. But with the action and the violence a little bit far and in between, I think Violent Night did it better. You know, they would punctuate some of these long segments where they were telling story with an action scene, but it would be like brutal and in your face, and it would be very memorable. With this one, we kind of go a long time between action scenes, and then the action scenes, when they happen, they're more thrilling than they are scary. That's not a bad thing. It depends on what you're looking for. This is not something that's going to scare you to death. Matter of fact, most of the scares come in the last 20 to 30 minutes. You have a small Vermont town. You have a new ranger coming to town, and they all get snowed in the same building and have to survive. There's something attacking them. And that's about it. So anyway, the movie is good. If you want to see it, you know, if this sounds like your cup of tea. I thought it was well done. The effects are mostly good, and the plot twist I didn't really see coming. So any movie that can do that, I'm pretty impressed. The reason I waited so long, I was hoping for maybe a 4K edition or a Steelbook, and that's exactly what happened. Walmart has gotten in, and it turns out it wasn't. They said they were exclusives, but they were exclusives for the first couple of weeks, and then they were everywhere. There's a whole line of movies that have been out over the last few years from this movie company. Bone Tomahawk, there's a few others. And they came out in these new Steelbooks, but they're not 4K. They're just the same Blu-rays that have already been out. Well, I already owned Bone Tomahawk and a few of the other movies. I didn't, but I had never owned this one. So, of course, I'm going to get a Steelbook over the regular version. And one of the sellers on Amazon had it for $15, where Walmart's trying to get it for $25. If you see it for free or $10 to $15, it's probably worth it. $25, $30, probably not. It was a really good-looking Blu-ray, by the way. I don't know why there's not a 4K. Like, there were some close-ups, especially of Sam Richardson, the star, where you could see every pore in his face and the razor stubble and all that. It was really clear for a 4K upconvert. The surround sound was good. And all in all, like I said, it's more of a comedy and a thriller than a horror movie. And I wish they hadn't really called it a horror movie. And some of the description didn't, but I kind of put that on it, I guess, when I heard it was werewolves. Anyway, I haven't played the game. This didn't make me want to play the game, but it did kind of entertain me for an hour and a half. And if there's going to be a sequel, I'd probably be in for that, just to see what happens with some of these characters, at least the ones who survived. I did enjoy the plot twist. I did enjoy most of the acting throughout. I thought some of the characters were a little cookie cutter and generic, but again, this was not a big budgeted movie. These were not A-list actors. They're all comedians, and they're playing very specific roles. And for that, I thought they all did well. Some characters we get a little more out of. Some are less. Some are just fodder for what happens later. All in all, though, it was entertaining. Maybe a 6 out of 10. Maybe a 6.5, pushing a 7. With a little bit better effects towards the end for the big plot twist and all that, I could have probably gone a little bit further. But all in all, Werewolves Within, definitely something, a good time waster. It won't change your life, but you'll get some chuckles out of it because it is very funny in places, and there's some good thrills with some possible werewolf action. I don't want to give any spoilers. So check out Werewolves Within. It's been out for a couple years. You could probably stream it for free. It's available on Blu-ray and in steelbooks now, available at all retailers. I'm Scott. I'm ROCKFILE. Thanks for taking time to listen to a podcast. Sorry it was short, but this is a movie that's like Clue with werewolves, so the less I talk about it, the better. It's a mystery, and you need to watch it, and maybe we'll do a spoiler cast later on down the road. Thanks for listening, and have a spectacular day.